perfSONAR is a network measurement tool that's designed to really enhance your science infrastructure by giving you accurate measurements between you and things that are very, very far away, possibly collaborators or network providers. Because this device is often located outside of your campus security infrastructure, it's important to note that it does have security layers available for the administrator to better protect this resource and ensure that it's enhancing your ability to measure things. We're going to talk about a couple of different items related to perfSONAR security. In particular, we're going to talk about the access policy, the number of ports that need to be open, and the assistive services that are available on a perfSONAR node. In terms of access policy, there's two ways that somebody can access a perfSONAR node. The first way is through a shell account. Shell accounts are normally only available to administrators. It's not necessary for a user of perfSONAR to have a shell account. Because of that, we would recommend not giving these to any user and only to the people who are going to be directly responsible for administrating a perfSONAR box. We would also recommend restricting the ways that you can access this mechanism to networks that you control or through a bastion host. This way, your attack surface is severely reduced. The second way to access a perfSONAR node is via visualization. There's really two main forms of visualization. There are direct tools like NDT and NPAD that have a specific port that a user would contact, and they would run a web-based test from their network browser. We would recommend keeping these open, particularly if you're going to tell your users to test against your campus resource. The second form of visualization are performance graphs. These are usually displayed via regular port 80 or port 443. You can restrict access to these if you're worried about conveying knowledge of your internal network structure, and you can do this with typical Apache controls. The second item that we want to discuss is the ports that need to be open on a perfSONAR node. There's really two different classifications of ports. The first is called a connective port. These are ports that need to be open and in a listening state so that a service can be initiated. Typical examples of this are HTTP or SSH, but in perfSONAR, the measurement tools have their own connective ports that must be in an open state. Somebody's remote tool will initiate a connection to your perfSONAR node, and then after this is initiated, a second set of ports is needed called data ports. These data ports are more numerous than the connective ports, and they must remain open so that we can initiate different tests and have these things run concurrently. Lastly, there are several assistive services that are available on a perfSONAR node. The first is a host-based firewall. Like the ports that we just mentioned, there are several things that need to be open in an available state for a remote user to access perfSONAR. The host-based firewall knows of these ports automatically and is initiated by default when a new perfSONAR node is installed. Second, we would recommend that people update their software periodically. There's a tool on perfSONAR nodes that allows for automatic updates, and we would recommend keeping this on. Third, there are a series of log analyzers and automated blocking tools that help detect bad behavior. For example, if someone is port scanning your perfSONAR node or trying to brute force SSH attack it, these will show up in logs, and the automated tools will go out and block these IPs from accessing your node in the future. Lastly, there's a series of tool-based restrictions that can be installed to better protect the resources on your network. For example, if you're concerned about people testing UDP to your BWCTL nodes, you can insert some rules that either allow or disallow this based on where they are located in network routing. You can identify peers that are allowed to run these tests and block other sites from doing so. perfSONAR security is designed to integrate with campus best practices. The tools that are available and the mechanisms that are in place are an enhancement to the role of measurement and are very helpful to administrators.